You never thought it would come to this. You never imagined you'd be sitting here, in the quiet hush of your bedroom, heart pounding like it's trying to escape your chest, all because of him. Your stepson. The boy who used to call you, sir. Who used to keep his distance. Who used to look at you like you were just another adult in the house. But now he looks at you like he sees something else. Something deeper. Something neither of you should be feeling. And you look back, even when you know you shouldn't. It started small. A lingering glance across the dinner table. A soft smile when no one else was watching. The way he said your name, not with respect or fear, but with something softer. Something that made your stomach twist in a way you couldn't explain. You told yourself it was nothing. Just hormones. Just loneliness. Just the way things sometimes are when people live too close and talk too little. But then came that night. Your spouse had been drinking again. Too much, as usual. Loud laughter. Slurred words. Endless stories no one wanted to hear. They stumbled around the house, knocking into furniture, shouting over the TV. You sat on the couch, nursing a drink you didn't really want, wishing the night would just end. Then you heard it. A knock on the bedroom door. Soft. Hesitant. You almost ignored it. Almost pretended you were asleep. But something made you get up. You opened the door slowly. There he stood. Hair messy. Eyes tired. Shoulders tense. He looked at you like he needed something. Like he needed you. I couldn't sleep, he whispered. You nodded. Stepped aside. He walked in without another word. You closed the door behind him. The room felt smaller suddenly. Heavier. He sat on the edge of your bed. You stayed standing. Neither of you spoke for a long time. Then he looked up at you. I don't know why I came here, he admitted. You swallowed hard. Maybe you did. He blinked. Then let out a quiet breath. It's just, everyone else is so loud tonight. And I feel like I can't breathe. You understood. More than you should have. Because sometimes, when the world feels too big, too noisy, too full of people who don't see you, you need someone to just be there. So you sat beside him. Didn't touch him. Didn't say anything. Just sat. And for the first time in a long while, you both felt less alone. After a while, he leaned into you. Just slightly. Barely enough for anyone else to notice. But you noticed. Of course you did. And you didn't pull away. Instead, you let him stay. Let him rest his head on your shoulder. Let the silence wrap around you both like a blanket. And somewhere in that quiet moment, something shifted. Something neither of you could take back. Even if you wanted to. You don't remember who moved first. Maybe it was both of you at the same time. Maybe it was the way his head rested against your shoulder, warm and steady. Or maybe it was the way he let out a quiet breath, like he finally felt safe enough to relax. Whatever it was, something changed in that moment. He lifted his head slowly. Looked at you. His eyes were soft, tired, but there was something else behind them. Something deeper. Something dangerous. You should have said something. Told him it was late. That he should go back to his room. That this wasn't right. But you didn't. Instead, you stayed still. Let him look at you. Let him search your face for answers neither of you had. Then he whispered, "Can I stay here tonight?" Your heart skipped a beat. It was such a simple question. One that shouldn't have meant anything. But in that moment, in that room, with the rest of the house asleep and the world far away, it felt like everything. You hesitated. Just for a second. Then you nodded. He didn't smile, but something in his expression softened. Like he needed this more than either of you could say. He kicked off his shoes. Shrugged off his hoodie. Lay down on the bed without another word. You watched him for a moment. Then you stood up, turned off the lamp beside the bed, and climbed in beside him. The sheets were cool. The silence between you thick. For a while, neither of you spoke. Then he shifted closer. Not all the way. Just enough for his arm to brush yours. Just enough for you to feel the heat coming off his skin. You didn't pull away. And somehow, that felt like permission. I used to think no one would ever understand me, he said quietly. You glanced at him. Why? He stared at the ceiling. Because I'm different. You swallowed hard. Different how? He turned his head to look at you. I like boys. The words hung in the air between you. You knew they weren't just for show. He wasn't trying to shock you. He was telling you something real. Something he'd probably never said out loud before. You didn't answer right away. Instead, you looked at him, really looked at him, and saw something familiar in his eyes. Loneliness, fear, hope, and then you realized, he already knew. He knew asterisk. Somehow, without either of you saying it, he understood that you were the same. His voice dropped lower. Do you ever feel like you're hiding parts of yourself just to make other people comfortable? You exhaled slowly. Every day. He nodded like he expected that answer. Silence stretched again. Then he asked, have you ever been with someone? You blinked. What do you mean? A boyfriend? A lover? Someone who really saw you? You shook your head. No. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, me neither. You looked at him again. Really looked. He was lying on his side now, facing you. Close enough that you could see the tiny details, the faint freckles across his nose, the way his lips parted slightly as he breathed. You wanted to say something. Anything. To fill the space between you before it grew too heavy. But before you could speak, he whispered, sometimes I wonder what it would be like. What? You asked, even though you already knew. To kiss someone who understands me. Your chest tightened. You should have stopped it there. Should have told him to go back to his room. Should have reminded yourself of every reason why this was wrong. But instead, you reached out. Just slightly. Just enough to brush your fingers against his cheek. He closed his eyes. And in that moment, everything else disappeared. The house. The world. The rules. All that mattered was the boy beside you. And the way your heart beat faster just because he was close. You don't sleep that night. Not really. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding in your chest like it's trying to remind you of something you already know, this shouldn't be happening. He's beside you. Quiet now. Breathing slow and steady. You can feel the warmth of his body through the thin fabric of your shirt. And somehow, even though everything inside you says this is wrong, it also feels right. Like you've been waiting for this moment without realizing it. You close your eyes. Try to steady your breathing. Try not to think about what this means. About what comes next. But all you can do is replay the way he looked at you. The way his skin felt under your fingers. The way your name sounded when he whispered it into the dark. You want to tell yourself it was just a mistake. A lapse in judgment. That tomorrow, things will go back to normal. But deep down, you know better. Nothing will ever be normal again. The next few nights pass in a blur. He starts coming to your room. More often. Not every night. Not always with words. Sometimes just a knock on the door. A quiet glance. A silent question. And you always answer. You never say much. Never make promises. Never talk about what this means. You just sit together. Talk softly. Hold hands under the blanket. Let the silence wrap around you both like a secret only you two share. Sometimes, he rests his head on your shoulder. Sometimes, you brush your fingers through his hair. Once, he leans in and kisses your cheek. Just a quick one, barely there. It should feel wrong. It does feel wrong. But it also feels like the only time you're truly alive. You start craving these moments. Waiting for them. Looking forward to the sound of his footsteps outside your door. And each time he leaves, you feel like something inside you is missing. Like you're losing yourself a little more with every touch. With every kiss. With every night you spend pretending this isn't real. One night, after another loud fight downstairs, he shows up again. His eyes are red. His voice shaky. They don't understand me, he whispers. You nod. I know. He sits beside you, hands clenched in his lap. I told her I liked boys, he says quietly. She didn't take it well. You turn to look at him. What did she say? He shrugs. Same old stuff. That I'll grow out of it. That I'm confused. That I need to act like a man. Your stomach twists. You know that pain too well. Without thinking, you reach for his hand. Squeeze it gently. She doesn't know you, you say softly. Not the way I do. He looks at you then. Really looks. And for the first time, he doesn't hide the way he feels. Instead, he leans in. Closes the space between you. And kisses you. Soft. Slow. Full of everything he can't say out loud. You don't stop him. You pull him closer instead. Let him fall into your arms. Let him forget the world outside. Let him believe, if only for a little while, that someone sees him. That someone loves him, even if you can't say it yet. Even if you know you probably shouldn't feel this way. Still, you hold him. And for once, you let yourself believe that maybe, just maybe, this is worth everything it costs. You start to live in two worlds now, the one everyone else sees, and the one that belongs just to you and him. During the day, life goes on as usual. You eat breakfast with your spouse. Watch TV. Pretend everything is fine. He does the same. Goes to school. Talks to friends. Keeps his head down when your spouse looks at him too long. But at night, it's just the two of you. No rules. No boundaries. Just stolen moments wrapped in silence. Sometimes he knocks on your door. Sometimes you go to his room when you're sure no one else is awake. You never say much. Words feel too heavy. Too dangerous. Instead, you touch. You kiss. You hold each other like you're both afraid of what happens if you let go. It starts slow. A hand on his back. A thumb brushing over his cheek. A kiss that lingers longer than it should. Then it grows deeper. One night, after another fight downstairs, he comes to you shaking. She said, I'm broken, he whispers. That something's wrong with me. You pull him into your arms without hesitation. She's wrong, you murmur against his hair. You're not broken. He tilts his face up to look at you. Eyes wide. Full of pain. Full of hope. Then why do I feel like this? He asks. Because he wants to be loved. Truly loved. Not just tolerated. Not just accepted. And somehow, in some impossible way, you love him. More than you should. More than you ever thought possible. So instead of answering, you kiss him again. Slowly. Deeply. Your hands find the hem of his shirt. Lift it off. His fingers fumble with yours, doing the same. And for the first time, you let yourself feel everything. No guilt. No fear. Just him. Just you. Just the two of you tangled together in the dark, holding onto something fragile but real. Later, when it's over, you lie beside him, heart still pounding. He rests his head on your chest. Listens to your heartbeat like it's a secret only he gets to hear. I've never felt like this before, he murmurs. You run your fingers through his hair. Me neither. He shifts closer. Presses a soft kiss to your collarbone. You make me feel safe, he says. You close your eyes. And for once, you let yourself believe it's true. The next few weeks pass in a blur. You fall into a rhythm. Quiet moments. Lingering touches. Kisses hidden behind closed doors. You know it can't last forever. You know. But you don't want to think about that yet. You want to keep pretending. Want to keep believing that maybe, just maybe, this is worth everything it costs. But secrets have a way of slipping out. Especially in houses filled with people who already suspect too much. One evening, after dinner, your spouse watches you too closely. She doesn't say anything, just stares, like she's waiting for you to crack, like she already knows. And later that night, when he slips into your room like always, you hesitate before closing the door. He notices. What's wrong? He asks. You shake your head. Nothing. He steps closer, reaches for your hand. We'll be okay, he whispers. You want to believe him. God, you want to. But deep down, you know better. Because love like this, it doesn't come without consequences. And you're starting to feel them already. You start to notice the way she watches you now. Not just you, both of you. She doesn't say anything, doesn't ask questions, doesn't accuse, but her silence is louder than any scream. She catches small things. The way he looks at you when he thinks no one's watching. The way your eyes find him across the room. The way you hesitate a second too long before speaking his name. It's not much, but it's enough. And you know it's only a matter of time before she says something. Before everything falls apart. One night, after another loud argument downstairs, you hear yelling from the living room. You're in your room, door slightly open. You can see her pacing back and forth, glass in hand, already halfway drunk. He's sitting on the couch, quiet as always, staring at the floor like he wishes it would swallow him whole. She turns to him suddenly. I know what's going on, she slurs. Your heart stops. He doesn't move. She takes a slow step forward. I'm not stupid. Still, he stays silent. She lets out a bitter laugh. You think I don't see the way you look at him. The way you sneak around. His hands tighten into fists. You want to go down there. Want to stop this before it gets worse. But you stay frozen. Because you know if you intervene, it'll only make things worse. She leans closer to him. You think you're special. That he actually wants you. He finally looks up at her. And the pain in his eyes cuts through you like a knife. You don't understand, he whispers. She scoffs. Oh, I understand perfectly. Then she turns toward the stairs. Toward you. You slam the door shut before she sees you standing there. Heart pounding. This is it. It's over. The next morning, you wake up to an empty house. No noise. No movement. Just silence. You walk downstairs slowly. The front door is open. His shoes are gone. So is his backpack. You search the house, but it's pointless. He's not here. You find her in the kitchen, sipping coffee like nothing happened. Where is he? You ask quietly. She doesn't look at you. Gone. You freeze. What do you mean, gone? She sets her mug down. Finally meets your eyes. He's not coming back, she says simply. You feel like someone punched you in the gut. What did you do? You whisper. She shrugs. I gave him a choice. Stay here and keep pretending, or leave and never come back. You stare at her, unable to speak. She stands up, walks past you. I did what I had to do, she says. For all of us. And then she disappears down the hallway, leaving you alone with the silence. With the emptiness. With the truth. He's gone. And this time, it wasn't his choice. You try calling him. Again and again. But his number is disconnected. You send messages. Texts. Emails. Nothing. You go to where he used to hang out. His favorite coffee shop. The park near school. No one knows where he went. Even his friends say they haven't heard from him. It's like he vanished. And the worst part, you don't even get to say goodbye. You sit in your room for hours, staring at your phone like it might ring. Like he might come back. But he doesn't. And eventually, you have to accept it. He's really gone. And you're left behind with the weight of everything you lost. Of every moment you were too afraid to hold on to. Of every word you never got to say. And all you can do is sit there. Heartbroken. Alone. Knowing that loving him was the most beautiful mistake you ever made. You don't know how to move on. It's been weeks, maybe months, but time feels meaningless now. Days blur together. Mornings come and go without purpose. Nights stretch endlessly, filled with silence that feels heavier than ever. You lie in bed most mornings, staring at the ceiling, waiting for something to change. For a call, a message, anything, but it never comes. He's gone, truly gone. And no matter how many times you tell yourself it was for the best, it doesn't make the pain go away. You start avoiding the house as much as you can. Spend hours driving with nowhere to go. Sit in empty parking lots. Walk through quiet streets where no one knows your name. You want to disappear too. Sometimes, when you close your eyes, you still feel him beside you. Still hear his voice whispering in the dark. Still remember the way he looked at you like you were the only person in the world who understood him. And maybe you were. Maybe you still are. Your spouse watches you now, not with anger, but with something worse, pity. She doesn't say much anymore. Doesn't bring up what happened. Doesn't ask if you're okay. Because she already knows the answer. And maybe, in her own way, she regrets it too. But neither of you say it out loud. Instead, you live in this strange, quiet space between you, two people who hurt each other, who lost something they didn't realize they needed until it was gone. Sometimes, late at night, you think about confronting her. About asking where he went. If he left willingly. If he begged her to let him stay. But you never do. Because deep down, you already know the truth. She gave him an ultimatum. And he chose to leave. Not because he wanted to. But because he had no other choice. You start dreaming about him again. At first, just small moments, a touch. A kiss. The sound of his laughter. But then the dreams grow longer. More vivid. In one, you find him standing outside the house, watching from the street. He doesn't speak, just looks at you with those same tired eyes. In another, he's sitting beside you in bed, just like before. You reach for him, but the second your fingers brush his skin, he vanishes. You wake up gasping every time. Heart pounding, tears on your pillow. You try to push the memories away. Try to bury them beneath routine and distraction. You throw yourself into work. Into hobbies. Into anything that might fill the emptiness inside you. But nothing works. Because no matter how hard you try, you can't forget him. You can't forget the way he made you feel. Like you mattered. Like you were seen. Like you were loved. One night, after tossing and turning for hours, you finally give in. You open your laptop. Search his name. Nothing. No social media. No messages. No posts. Just silence. You type in his old school. His city. Even try searching old group chats, hoping someone might have heard from him. But there's nothing. It's like he was never here. And maybe that's the worst part. Not just losing him, but knowing no one else seems to miss him the way you do. You close the laptop and sit in the dark, hands shaking. And then the anger comes. Why didn't he fight harder? Why didn't he tell you what she said? Why didn't he come to you before it was too late? Didn't he know you would have done anything to keep him? Didn't he know you still love him? Even now, even after everything, you want to hate him. Want to scream. Want to break something just to feel something real. But all you do is cry. Hard. The kind of crying that leaves your chest sore and your throat raw. Because you loved him, more than you ever thought possible. And now he's gone, and you don't even know why. Or if he ever thinks of you the way you think of him. Weeks turn into months. You force yourself to move forward. You delete his number. Unfollow places you used to go together. Avoid driving past the park where you used to sit in silence. But forgetting isn't that easy. Every time someone touches your arm, you think of him. Every time you hear a laugh that sounds like his, you turn around expecting to see him. Every time you pass by a quiet alley or an empty bench, you remember the way he kissed you in the dark. You start dating again, slowly. Carefully. You meet boys. Some are nice. Some are funny. One even makes you smile in a way that almost feels real. But none of them are him asterisk. And nothing ever feels quite right. You wonder if it ever will. Then, one day, you find a letter in your mailbox. No return address. Just your name written neatly on the front. Your hands shake as you open it. Inside, only a few lines. Greater than, I still love you. Greater than I always will. Greater than but I had to walk away to protect you. Greater than don't hate me. Greater than don't forget me. You read it over and over. Tears blur the ink. You sit on the floor with the letter clutched in your hands. And for the first time in months, you let yourself grieve. Not just for him, but for everything you lost. For every moment you thought would last forever. For the love that was real, even if it ended quietly. Even if it ended without saying goodbye. You carry the letter with you for days. Folded carefully in your wallet. Hidden between old receipts and forgotten things. Like if you keep it close enough, he'll still be near you. You read it every night before bed. Sometimes more than once. Each time, the words feel heavier. Truer. More painful. And each time, you wonder where he is. If he's safe. If he's happy. If he thinks about you the way you think about him. You want to write back. Want to find him. Want to scream into the void and hope he hears you. But you don't. Because you don't know where he is. And maybe that's the cruelest part. Not just losing him, but not even getting to say goodbye. You start dreaming about him again. Not the same ones as before, these are different. Softer. Full of quiet moments you never got to live. You see yourselves sitting on a park bench, holding hands like no one is watching. You're laughing. He's leaning into you, eyes full of something warm and real. In another dream, you're in a small apartment. Boxes everywhere. He's unpacking, smiling as he holds up an old photo frame. This one stays, he says. You look at the picture. It's the two of you. Not from here, not from that house. From somewhere new, somewhere free. You wake up crying, because it was just a dream. But it felt like a future you were never meant to have. One day, you decide to go back. Not to the house, not to her, to the places you used to go together. The quiet park behind his school. The little coffee shop where you used to sit in silence, pretending you weren't stealing glances at each other across the table. You walk past the alley where he first kissed you. You stand outside the library where he once whispered, I wish we didn't have to hide. You close your eyes. Let the memories wash over you. And for the first time in a long while, you don't try to push them away. Instead, you let yourself remember. Let yourself feel. Let yourself grieve asterisk. Because loving someone doesn't end just because they're gone. It lingers. In every place you went together. In every word you never got to say. In every touch that still burns in your skin. You start writing again. Not for anyone else. Just for yourself. Letters you'll never send. Pages filled with everything you wanted to tell him but couldn't. You write about how much he changed you. About how he made you feel seen when no one else could. About how he taught you it was okay to love someone who wasn't supposed to be yours. You write about the nights you spent tangled in each other's arms. About the way he looked at you when he thought no one was watching. About how you still miss him so much it hurts. You write until your hands ache. Until your chest feels too full. Until you can't breathe without remembering him. And then you stop. Because some stories don't need an ending. Some loves aren't meant to last forever. But that doesn't mean they weren't real. That doesn't mean they didn't matter. And it certainly doesn't mean you'll ever forget him. Time passes. Slowly. Painfully. But it passes. You learn to live with the weight of what you lost. You don't pretend it didn't happen. Don't try to erase it. Don't tell yourself it was just a mistake. Because it wasn't. It was beautiful. Even if it ended quietly. Even if it left scars. Even if it broke you. You loved him. And nothing, not her, not fear, not guilt, can take that away. So you hold on to it. Hold on to him. In your heart. In your memory. In every piece of you that still belongs to him. Even now. Even after everything. Especially now. Especially after everything. You sit in front of the camera, hands steady now even though your heart still carries the weight of everything you've lived through. The room is quiet. Just the soft hum of the recorder and the faint sound of traffic outside. This isn't easy to say out loud. But it's time. Because there are people like you, people who feel too different, too broken, too alone to ever be loved for who they truly are. And maybe hearing your story will help them understand that they're not as alone as they think. You take a deep breath and begin. It started with fear, you say softly. Fear of being seen, of being judged, of being too much asterisk. You pause, letting the words settle. But then I met someone. Someone who didn't see me the way I thought everyone else would. He didn't flinch, didn't laugh, didn't run away. A small smile touches your lips, even though your eyes are wet. He saw me, all of me, and he loved me anyway. You look directly into the lens now. Love doesn't always come in the way we expect. Sometimes it shows up when we least plan for it. With people we weren't supposed to fall for. In moments we were told never to chase. You exhale slowly. And sometimes, it ends before we're ready. Before we can say everything we wanted to say. Your voice cracks just slightly, but you keep going. But that doesn't mean it wasn't worth it. You let that sink in, for yourself, as much as for whoever is listening. I used to think being different made me less than everyone else. I used to believe that if people knew the truth about me, they'd turn away. You shake your head slowly. But he showed me something else. He showed me that being different isn't something to hide. It's something to carry with pride. You lean forward slightly, your tone soft but certain. So if you're watching this right now, and you feel alone, if you've been hiding parts of yourself because you're afraid of how people might react, I want you to remember one thing. You pause. You are worthy of love. Exactly as you are. The silence after your words feels full, like it holds every emotion you've ever felt. You glance down at your hands, then back up. I don't know where he is now. I don't know if he'll ever read this or hear these words. But I hope he does. You smile again, a little more genuine this time. Because I still love him. I always will. You sit back, letting the moment stretch. Then, quietly, you add. And I'm finally okay with that. The red light on the camera blinks. Steadily. And as the recording ends, you close your eyes. For the first time in a long time, you feel free.